Everyone's still coming in. All right, we'll go ahead and get started while everyone's still coming in. This whole webinar will be recorded and put on our YouTube. So if you happen to miss any little bit of it, feel free to check it out there afterwards. Hi, everyone. I'm Emma. I am the LGO admissions coordinator. With me is my colleague Dominic Lamano, who is our admissions director. And we also have Maddie Clark, who's from the MBA team to help out with any MBA-based questions. And we'll go ahead and get started. The chat function is turned off for this webinar. We do have the Q&A function available for everyone, so feel free to use that to ask any questions. And we also will have a little part for questions at the end of the webinar. So the LGO program is a 2-year dual degree program. So you're a full student of the MIT Sloan MBA program, excuse me, and the MIT Engineering Department you're doing your master's in. And then of course the LGO program. So we have our own LGO staff for your student services, careers network, financing, and action learning. So it is a 24-month dual degree master's program, and it is primarily on campus. So you spend about 4 semesters on campus, and then you do an internship for 6 months at one of our 25-ish partner companies. So you also do a thesis research project conducted at your internship. And you also have 2 faculty advisors assigned. So one from the School of Engineering and one from the School of Management, in addition to the program advisors on the LGO program team. And on average, our class size is about 50. It does range back and forth over the years, but average does stick at that 50. And then we'll move on to the next slide. So this is a class snapshot. So the class of 25 was around 53. This year, our class of 2026 is 45. So it does range. It's a small community that promotes close bonds with your classmates. The network continues to grow. We have about 1,600 alumni. But you also are part of the Sloanie network, which has about 400 students per year, including the LGOs. And then you're also able to network with the engineering departments, and they're encouraged to, like LGOs are encouraged to integrate into their engineering department's community of master's and PhD students. So our candidates do have an average of 5 years work experience. However, the mid 80% range is from around 2 years to 11. So the LGO is ideal for candidates with a STEM background, ready to lead a strategic innovation in a variety of industries. Students come from a range of experiences, including aviation, operations, consulting, pharma, biotech, basically any STEM background. That's probably a place one of our students have come from. So this is a quick snapshot of the class of 2025. The average years of work experience was 5 years in this class. That doesn't mean we do not admit students who are outside of this. This is just the average. You can see the GPAs average around 3.7, with the average GMAT being 730 and the average GRE quant being 166. Again, don't be discouraged if you don't have those exact scores. Those are just the average. And in this class, the students were 30% international, 42% women, and 11% URM. And on the right-hand side, you can also see the undergraduate majors of our students. So again, you can see everyone's coming from different backgrounds within the STEM fields. So let's talk about admissions for LGO. So there's not one piece of a candidate's application that will make or break their chances of admission. So applicants submit only one application. So if you want to also be considered for the MBA, You do not need to submit a separate application. The MBA team will also look at your application for LGO. So no need to submit two. It's just a lot more work for you. So the engineering team will look at your application, LGO team, as well as the MBA team. So during the admissions review process, we are scoring you on different competencies. So these are qualities like how well you work on a team, how you solve scientific problems, how you perform advanced STEM coursework and projects, how you communicate, change, and get buy-in from those around you, how your academic goals fit with your chosen engineering department, and so on. So I'm now going to go into these three primary categories of your application to discuss the components in more detail.
Sorry, Emma, can I just do one quick
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
I accidentally hit a question that I wanted to answer live, but I wanted to type and I can't go back. But just real quick, there was a question about if there's any age restrictions for this program, and the answer is no. Sorry. Go ahead.
no worries. So academic performance. So your academic performance is looked at closely by both the Sloan and your engineering department. So the admissions team are looking at your GPA, the courses you completed in undergrad and maybe your master's degree or even your PhD, and any trends in grades over your academic terms. So the engineering department is particularly interested in any STEM courses you have completed. So for example, while you don't necessarily need to have completed all aero-astro classes in order to be considered for aero-astro department, they, like the other departments, will look for evidence that you have mastered the fundamentals of engineering so that you'll be able to hit the ground running when you start your engineering courses for your master's. It's a good idea to check out our website on each specific department to learn more about any particular courses each looks for. Some departments like MEC-E offer guidance on online prereq courses they suggest to prepare for the program. Other departments like Chemi can give specifics about the type of math an incoming student should be comfortable doing to help manage expectations. Additionally, our office is happy to answer any specific questions you may have about the courses you've completed, whether or not you'd be a competitive candidate for a particular engineering department. So that ties into mentioning quant proficiency. So if you're interested in applying to a certain department, but unsure if you have enough of the quant background, we can help and also offer suggestions if it's possible to take coursework either during the application process or after you've applied to bolster your skills. Be sure to indicate on your application if you're currently working on improving your quant engineering proficiency. And there's also a supplemental portion of the application to upload any specialized certifications or trainings you completed. And also just looking at test scores, the GMAT or GRE is required for all applicants. It's up to you which you take, and we have no preference. It is up to you. So, professional accomplishments. The ways to highlight your career progress, leadership, and impact include letters of recommendation, cover letters, and resume. There's also an organizational chart, which is also part of the online app, which helps give context into your current role and organizational structure. So there are two letters of recommendations required. The first one is from a technical source who can speak to your analytical acumen, technical expertise, in depth, quantitative problem solving, and the ability to look closely into a technical problem. Oftentimes it's from a former professor. However, if you're more than a couple years out of undergrad, it's good to have a supervisor or a senior colleague or manager supply the technical letter, as they have a more recent snapshot of your technical abilities. Someone in roles such as chief engineer or data scientist, for example. We are also strongly encouraging applicants provide that second letter of a technical recommendation. So just to provide further insight into your technical abilities, which are of particular interest to the engineering departments. There's also that second letter of recommendation that's coming from a professional source. So ideally a current or former direct supervisor. The title of these individuals is not as important as the details they can offer about your experience, about their experience working with you, your analytical problem-solving abilities, who you are as a teammate, and future leadership potential. When planning to ask Give your recommenders plenty of time to write the letter of recommendations. It's also good to discuss your career interests with them while you're pursuing your graduate degree to give them more context into your next professional steps. And then the cover letter. Treat it like a normal cover letter. Share more about yourself, explain how you would fit into the MIT LGO program. Like other cover letters, this is your chance to thoughtfully include one or more examples that illustrate how you question the status quo, think outside the box, to offer innovative ideas or solutions from your professional experiences so far. It takes some time and reflection, as it can be kind of challenging to put this together in a snapshot within 300 words. So give yourself time to work on your draft. And then the resume. So 1-page maximums with specific formatting instructions, which are included on the application. So make sure to look at those. But it's like also include your education and work experience. Make sure it's easy to read, includes quantifiable accomplishments, showcases volunteer work, extracurriculars, leadership positions and certificates, and also tell us about your personal interests. We like to know a little bit more about you if you have space on your resume. And then, of course, personal qualities. So in addition to looking at academic performance and professional accomplishments, we are also looking for personal qualities or attributes that indicate candidates will enhance the LGO community, and also that the program will help them grow both professionally and personally. These personal attributes are highlighted in your statement of purpose, the different video statements, and interview. We also look for your personal qualities through any leadership positions you've had outside work. Some examples would be volunteer work, mentoring, professional development, or sports teams. LGO is designed for students interested in the intersection of business and technology, who want to become industry leaders and who see problems and solve problems. We often say LGOs get things done. LGO students are humble and extremely collaborative, so we are looking for candidates who show us through both the application and interview that they are a good match for the LGO program. The statement of purpose is a short essay, so 300 words again, outlining why you would like to enroll in the engineering department you chose. We ask candidates to explain your academic interests, career goals, and why your chosen engineering department is the right fit. This is a great opportunity for us to learn about your passions and where you want to focus your studies while you're in the program. We can learn a lot about you from this essay, so be specific, be able to name partner companies that you might want to intern with, maybe different classes within the engineering department. It's a great place to show that you're super interested in the program and that you've done your research. And then overall, this is the application components. So this is all snapshot. We basically have talked about all of these in the last, 15 minutes. So it is just one application. As I mentioned earlier, you do not need to submit 2 applications, one for LGO, one for MBA. It will all be considered. And if you happen to not get into LGO, you'll could be considered in round 2 for MBA. So LGO, we're looking for mission-driven students who have history of leadership and impact, but who are also talented engineers who can use analytical tools to solve complex problems. We do use a holistic evaluation process, so not one thing's gonna exempt you from being a part of LGO. And all applications are reviewed multiple times by people across Sloan School of Engineering and LGO. We look at every single application. There's no reason we wouldn't look at you. Just wanted to make sure you all knew that. And then just some small tips, we suggest that you apply when you're ready. So if you only have 2 years of work experience and you're kind of on the border of, do I apply now? Do I apply later? What should I do? Whenever you feel like it is time for you, that's when you should apply. You can always reapply again in the years forward, but we want to make sure you apply when you are ready to come to LGO. Choose recommenders who truly know you. We always tell that to everyone. Don't pick someone who's the CEO of a company who maybe you talk to once in an elevator. And you just want them to write your recommendation because they have a super high title in the company. So your recommender should be able to discuss your engineering abilities or your professional abilities, either in the classroom or in complex applied situations. Make sure they know you, make sure they can write the best letter of recommendation for you. And then also be clear and precise about your academic interests in your engineering statement of purpose. So if there are classes, professors you're really interested in, feel free to mention that here. We also use this statement of purpose to help pair candidates with advisors in the admissions process. And then finally, be yourself. We're looking to understand your interests, your passions, and your personal story. We want to know about you. So use that video statement. So I'll discuss a little bit more about all these really quickly. So resume, we've discussed, cover letter, we've discussed, professional letter of rec, 1 or 2 strongly recommended, technical letter of recommendation, your statement of purpose, organizational chart, 60-second video introduction. I think that was supposed to be in the personal attributes, but I must have accidentally skipped over it. So 60-second video introduction is basically you introducing yourself to your future classmates. It's only 60 seconds. We don't want any editing in it. We want it to be basically you, one take. Well, you can take multiple takes, but like one take in the actual video. And just kind of introduce yourself. None of your future classmates will actually ever see this video, so don't worry about that. We just kind of want to get more insight into who you are as a person, maybe who you are outside of your professional or technical skills. Some people do it while they're skiing. Some people do it, I'm trying to think of other ones, like on a basketball court or on a soccer court. Um, so do it wherever you feel comfortable. Some people just do it in front of a desk and do it wherever they feel comfortable in their house or apartment or wherever. Um, and then the second video question. So that's a new one for this year. So it is a question that will pop up about approximately 80% of your application is done. You do not need to do this video statement right then and there. It will just pop up as an option on your screen with the rest of the application components. So it is a completely randomized question. And you will have about 10 seconds to look at the question when you are ready to do the video, be able to test your computer, make sure your microphone's working, your camera's working beforehand, and then the camera will turn on after those 10 seconds of reviewing the question, and you'll be able to answer it right then and there. It is only one take. You do not need to prep for it. It's either like a behavioral-based question. One question's like, I don't have the question top of my head. I'm so sorry. But it's behavioral based. You do not need to prep for it at all. It's just basically trying to see how you can speak right after a question is brought up. Yeah. And then the GRE or GMAT, as we mentioned earlier. And then there's also a short answer about the background. So basically, it's a small question. How has the world shaped you to who you are today? And then also the deadline is November 6th. We only have one deadline for LGO, so make sure to apply before then. The deadline is at 3 p.m. on November 6th. And then interviews are required and by invitation only and conducted by the admissions committee. Perfect. Dominic, did I miss anything super important before I move on to questions?
No, not at all. No, that was it. I'm sorry, I'm typing feverishly,
No, you're good.
but you
So
got everything.
perfect. So we'll move on to questions.
One that I wanted to have talk live. The course is the MS that you get from engineering. That's part of the LGO program, the same as if you went to just get your own MS in that engineering field. And the answer is yeah, it's a little different for sure. LGO is a program that is built around, creating leaders in global operations. And so there's a lot of dedicated LGO only content. And so it won't be the same as getting a dedicated MS in whatever field you decide. No, it'll be similar for sure. You'll get a lot of the foundational information that you need that you would get in a dedicated MS, but um, it's more, once you get into the electives, it's more geared towards LGO.
Perfect. And I see, I don't know if you're typing an answer or not, Dominic, but it
Sorry.
says regarding the recommendation letters, could we use two professional letters with technical aspects and abilities you mentioned? We do want to separate the professional and technical letter of recommendations. There are different prompts for each, and that will all be in the application portal. So just make sure you tell the whoever you choose for your letter of recommendation which recommender they are. Like they can always answer questions from the other ones, but we do want to make sure you do hit those prompts for each of them.
And continuing with a recommendation, sorry to interrupt, Emma, but another question came in from Austin about the logistics of recommendations. So yes, they will get an email that will ask them to log into the system and fill out some questions. There's some basic questions about how well you know the applicant, things like that. And then, yes, they will upload a letter. They will have the ability to upload a letter then.
And they also do have the same deadline as you. So make sure that they submit their letter of rec by November 6th at 3 p.m. And then is the interview online or strictly in person? The interviews will be online this year as well.
And that's, of course, if you get invited.
Yes.
Not
And
every-
is the interview primarily technical or personal? It's a combination of both. We want to make sure you know about the LGO program, want to make sure that you fit. Again, it's double checking all those personal, like, like, oh my God, I can't think of the right word, but qualities, excuse me, personal qualities. So we want to make sure that you're a good fit for LGO, you know about LGO, and also answer behavioral based questions.
Couple questions also about who to reach out to. So I just answered the specific question, but for everyone to know, lgo@mit.edu is our main inbox that Emma and I, well, really Emma, I'm a backup. If you have any questions about what engineering discipline to go for, or do I have a technical enough background, or anything like that, lgo@mit.edu is the email. When sending, if you have information like your resume, or if you have an unofficial transcript laying around, attach those. They always help. We can take a look at those and see if you're better fit for, ECS or chemical, whatever the situation. But long-winded answer, lgo@mit.edu. We can help out with all of those kind of questions.
And also, I do see some very specific questions in the Q&A. That's a great place to ask those questions. So similarly, if you're like, who should I ask for the letter of recommendation? Again, choose who you think should be your letter of recommendation. But if you have very specific questions based off of your background, feel free to email us, and that's the best place for us to help answer those questions.
Yes. There's a couple of questions about the second interview, the second video. And I'm feverishly trying to look at those examples that Alexa sent us the other day, but I can't find them real quick. But is the second video question similar to behavioral questions that you may ask during the interview? So the second video question is really just about, it's not about the content. It's not about if it's a right or wrong answer. We just want to see your ability to look at a question and answer it online. It's really more about presentation, about communication. We're not scoring the second video question right or wrong, whatever the question is. And the questions are, like, tell me about a time that you had a situation at work that was troublesome and how did you overcome it? Something like that. So no right or wrong answers on the content of the question. It's more about your presentation and your communication skills. Maddie, did I miss anything on that?
No, that's perfectly right. Just to give another example too, you might see a question like, what's your proudest achievement? Tell us
Yeah.
about it. Like
Mhm.
very much questions that you would likely see in an interview and how you kind of respond to those on the spot.
There's a question. I recognize the application website. Thank you, Maddie, by the way. The application website that it appears possible to apply for 2027 attendance. Could you please confirm if that's accurate? I'm not sure where you're seeing that. So it might be that you're the class of 2027. That might be
I think
where,
that's
yeah. So you can only, as Emma mentioned, we have one round every year and it's for the current cycle. Well, I answered a lot of questions about deferring as well. So there, you can't apply to be deferred. You have to, as Emma mentioned, apply when you're ready. There are certain cases where we will grant a deferral if some extraordinary thing happened while you're getting ready to attend. But in general, you should apply in the year that you're ready to go. And I think in this case, with a question, it was the class of 2027. Are applicants permitted to read their recommendations, or do we waive that possibility? You have the choice to waive that possibility when you are filling it out. Next one, I'm going right down the line here. I have undergraduate courses in strategic management and ongoing. So this would be this is a good question to send to the LGO inbox. So we want to try to avoid specific individual questions here. So if you have individual questions about if you're fit or what program, send it to lgo@mit.edu, and we're gonna skip those for now right now.
I'll grab the next one.
Go ahead.
But if you complete the LGO application but are not accepted, are you considered for both an MBA and MS in your selected department or just Sloan? It is just Sloan. The engineering departments kind of have their own thing going on, and they just do read the LGO application specifically in mind for LGO. But Sloan also, if you happen to not get in, you'll be put in that round too.
There's a question about if you do qualify for an interview, is this done by the LGO department or mix? Actually, it's by the MBA department right now. But they are aware that they are LGO students and they understand the LGO differences, and they're really, really awesome at interviewing and getting the qualities that we need. So it's MBA team that do the interviews. Can someone with a PhD apply? There are some very rare instances where that can happen. If you are a PhD and you want to, also you have to be a current MIT PhD. Current PhD students elsewhere, you could just apply as a regular applicant. But if you're a current PhD at MIT, there are certain instances where we can work with you. If you are, and that's the case, it's an anonymous sender. I can't see who's asking the question. Email lgo@mit.edu, and we can talk about that. All right, that's next. Do you see most students going back into industry after LGO, or is entrepreneurship particularly prominent? No, actually, we see a lot of people, most of the people going back into industry. To be honest, our program isn't really built around starting a venture right after school. Our program is about being in industry. It's, we want to create leaders in global operations. That's the whole thing. So our thing is we want to roll up your sleeves. We want to get in there and we want to be part of it. So to be truthfully honest, what we see is right after graduation, it's mostly back into industry. Eventually, we do see a small portion of our alum start businesses down the road, because while you're here, you actually do learn a lot about starting a business and being entrepreneurial. And there's lots of resources at MIT about entrepreneurship, but the program is really not optimized to start a venture right after you graduate.
I'll grab the next one. Can you share a bit about the community dynamics between the LGO, Sloan, and general engineering programs? So as an LGO, we do have our own very small cohort. So our LGO students do start in the summer. So basically, not a lot of people are on campus during the summer. And that basically starts a lot of bonding between the different LGO students. And then in the first fall semester, the LGOs go into the MBA core. So you're in their core groups and their rivers, oceans, and doing a ton of projects with them in their classes. And so there's a lot of community building between the LGO and Sloanies during this. And also as an LGO student, you can do anything an MBA or engineering student can do. So you can join their clubs, you can go on treks with them. You can kind of do whatever you feel like doing. You can either, if it's up to you, you can choose, maybe I want to be more on the engineering side of things and join more things over on that side of the school, or maybe you really want to be part of the Sloanies. So it's really up to you what you want to do. The engineering departments are just a little bit different because you will be taking classes with other students who are getting an MS or PhD. So it's a little bit more of a smorgasbord of who you're taking classes with, but you are fully integrated within both of the programs, and you can kind of make what you want with it.
Lots of questions. So I'm dismissing questions that are specific to your candidacy. If you're asking a question about you personally, and if you're just please email lgo@mit.edu. This is more for general questions that everyone can benefit from. A lot of questions about funding and financing. So as Emma mentioned, every admitted and enrolled, well, actually, I should say every enrolled student who gets a spot in the class will automatically get 50 to 60% of the tuition in the form of a fellowship. So right off the bat, you're going to get, every student is going to get about 50 to 55, 60% of your tuition right in a fellowship. So we do it a little differently. We like to share the wealth. We like to give everybody money instead of a few people all the money, but we do actually have a small number of named fellowships that are basically like scholarships, that are additional merit-based monies that we can give. Admittedly, it's not a huge impact compared to the 50 to 60% in the fellowship. That's the big thing. But we do have some money to give away in the form of named fellowships. You don't have to do anything extra. It's part of the application process, and you'll be notified if you got any extra with your admit letter. But again, the key is we kind of take a different route where we share the wealth, where we give everyone 55 to 60% right off the bat. Moving on, let's see what else here. Are the internships so internships, another good question. Are the internships with LGO partners based in Boston, or could these be located elsewhere in the United States? You should plan on not being in Boston, actually. They will be in other parts of the United States. There are a few that are here in Boston, and you may get lucky to get one that's local, but I would plan on the internship not being in Boston. Now, we will help you, obviously. We will get you there. We will get your stuff there. But living stipend is included in your fellowship. But the actual cost to transport you and your stuff, we will pay for. But I would plan on not being in Boston for your internship. And again, if you do happen to get one that's local, great, but plan on not being local.
I will grab one that says, is the referral process by an LGO alumni still a thing? It is. If you would like to be, if you are going to be referred by an LGO alumni, it can also be a current student, have either the alumni or current student reach out to the LGO inbox, and we will send them the link to help refer you. If you have any questions, again, email us, and we can always help direct you there as well. And I do see a question, what is the career outcome of the LGO program? And this is the question we always answer. It can be whatever you want. Everyone kind of comes in with a different idea of what they want the LGO program to help them do. So some people continue within the same industry. Some people have maybe been in consulting and want to pivot back more into the engineering and STEM field. Some people maybe want to pivot more into the business field. It's really up to you and what you want to make out of the LGO program. Everyone's coming from different backgrounds, and everyone's kind of going into something different. So up to you. A great way to kind of learn more is chat with our alumni. They can probably answer that question much better than I can and kind of tell you what they did with their LGO degree. So definitely reach out to alumni. They're always a great resource, and we will have a return on investment event next week. So the ROI of LGO, and we will have alumni there, and they'll be able to help answer that question then as well.
And I'd like to add to that too. One of the great, so we have, as Emma mentioned, we have 26 company partners that we work with, and it's just so amazing. They're tightly integrated with the program. That's where all the internships come from. Another benefit of the partners that we have is they help fund the program. So that's where some of the fellowship money comes from. And another unstated benefit of the partners, which I think is one of the best, is that, you're with them so much in the program. You're doing the internship. we do a lot of programming where they'll come and do presentations. There's just natural ways to integrate networking in that situation. And so a lot of times you'll see our students will go to, and it's not required and they're not expecting it, but a lot of times you'll see our students graduate and go to one of the partner companies and work there because there's so many opportunities to network and connect. So again, great benefits with the partner companies, and we really like having them involved. Next question I can handle real quick, Emma, the stats on admits to applicants. So we get about 400-ish applications every cycle. Every cycle is a little different depending on what's going on with the economy. There's always ups and downs. And then we admit usually in the 60-ish range to get about 50. And again, those are ballparks that can change every cycle, but that's usually around where we are. 400 to admit 60 to get 50. Next up, let's see here. Let me get into this one. So is the application viewed and independently judged by each of the schools and then the individual ratings? So not quite. So there's a question about how it's reviewed. So you get 3 reviews, essentially mini review. Well, I wouldn't say mini reviews, but you get 3 reviews. You get the MBA team does a review, the engineering team does a review, and LGO does a review as well. And then we have a big admissions committee meeting where we all talk about it. So to answer your question, it's not like a ratings chart. We all talk about it. We all know what each one rates. And so we get together and talk. That's a really big, it's important to us to not make it scientific and make it a chart because fit is important. So we all talk about fit. We all talk about how will this possible candidate benefit from LGO? How will we benefit for having them in the program? So they all talk, they all have input. It's not as scientific as a chart or anything, purposely because we want to talk about fit and we want to make sure it's a good candidate. Next up, let's go with this one. So typically MBA application resume should not have a technical focus. Is this the case for I think you should just put your resume. I don't think you should change around your resume as much. If we just want to look at the typical resume, that's, reverse chronological order of your professional experience, anything else you've done, extracurricular. I wouldn't worry about changing or focusing your resume in a certain way.
We'll grab the next one, which is what is the most common engineering concentration? Typically, it's mechanical engineering, but it does fluctuate each year. So sometimes the engineering departments can take on more, or sometimes they can take on less each year. It does fluctuate, but we do end up with that, around 50 students. Just the engineering departments, their numbers fluctuate each year just based off of like their needs and what they can do.
And the next question is similar, and I don't mean to jump in, Emma. Don't worry about which ones have the most. No, it's really more about what your background is in. If you're a mechanical engineer, then you should apply for mechanical engineering. Likely, the next question was about, operations research admitted to field significantly less than mechanical. Yes, but only because just in general, there's less ORC's applications out there. So don't worry about numbers and if you should apply to a different engineering department because there's less applications or more. You should apply to the engineering field, a concentration that's part of your engineering field. All right, moving on. Lots of good questions, by the way. Loving all the questions.
I do see a question, if I can jump in. If it's
go.
typical for an LGO student to take a full-time position with their internship company post-graduation, it's not that everyone needs to take a post-grad job offer with their internship company. That is common. People do that. But you can get offers from other companies that we work with, like other partner companies. You do start that relationship pretty early on in the LGO program. So you can have relationships with a ton of different partner companies, go on an internship with a completely different one, and then possibly get an offer from one that you didn't go on an internship. So again, it's up to you if you really it's up to you if you want to interview for other companies besides your internship company. So just it's up to you what you want to do with that, but we have a whole team that helps with recruiting on site. So they'll be a great resource for you.
There's some questions about the specifics of internships that I'm going to pass on for now because I want to focus on application tips and tricks right now because that's the webinar. If we don't get to those specific internship questions, please do email us and we can get to those. Application fee waivers for military personnel so there is a waiver, and Emma, keep me correct here on the technical aspects. There is an application waiver form that you need to fill out, and we can either approve or disapprove. I don't know the specifics, Emma and Maddie, if you can keep me true here for military personnel, children who are international.
I would say look, whoever this is, look at our oh my God, I can't think of the form to fill out, and it will have a list of ways to get an application waiver. And if you fit one of those, then you're able to apply and most likely will get approved. But definitely take a look at that within the application. Again, Maddie, if I got anything wrong, go ahead.
No, that's absolutely correct. If anyone thinks they qualify for one, just submit the waiver request form and we'll get back to you pretty quickly.
Again, lots of questions about stuff that are not application tips right now. So I'm going to go through and get the application stuff first. Like choosing classes and everything. We're going to wait on those. And again, if we don't get those, email us. And again, yes, if you apply and you don't get into Sloan, LGO, Sloan does take a look at the applications and you could possibly get into the Sloan MBA for round 2. Again, that's internship stuff. Let's, oh, here's one. Let me see. How do you evaluate candidates who have an undergraduate degree in research experience in engineering, but professional experience is in business/operations? So that's a good question. The answer there, and this is very generic, but that's the whole point of the application, is we look at everything in the application, really. Because we take a holistic approach, and each piece of the application will help us evaluate. And in this case, specifically, you have an engineering academic background, but your professional background is more in the business side. We'll look at everything. We'll take a look at everything and we'll analyze that. And so there's no real straight answer to that other than that's the application. That's why we have the application and the different pieces of the application.
I do see a good question in the Q&A, which is when we are admitted into the engineering department, are specific research topics already decided, or are we actually just applying to an engineering department and the research topic as well as advisors are decided later? So it does differ based off of each engineering department. Within your statement of purpose, make sure you write either 1 or 2 research areas within the engineering department that you are interested in. Some engineering departments match you with an advisor during the admissions process. Some of them do it afterwards. So just make sure you are able to articulate why and which engineering research areas you'd like to go into.
Couple questions about reaching out to current students and or alumni. I just put the Meet Our Students webpage in the answer to one of them so people can reference that. And we have a really cool Meet Our Students website that Emma updated recently, and you can reach out. We have both years, we have different engineering backgrounds, and you can filter that page on, a mechanical from class of 2025. And if they're on this webpage, they've already said they want to, it's okay to reach out to them. So please do reach out to the students. Very important to get their view. I always joke that they'll give you the real answers to your questions and not the shiny admissions answers. For alumni, it's best you can either use LinkedIn or reach out to LGO at mit.edu, and we have staff on hand that are alumni experts and know where all kinds of alumni are all over the world, and we can connect you to alum.
All right, well, it is 1 o'clock, so we will wrap it up. But again, if we didn't get to your question, I am throwing the LGO email within the chat. So feel free to email us with any questions. We're more than happy to hop on phone calls with you all. And help answer all your questions while you get prepared for the LGO application. Thank you all for hopping on a nice Tuesday afternoon, at least here in Boston. Hopefully everyone has a great rest of their day or night or wherever you are. Yeah, thank you all for coming. We'll
Thanks,
hope to
everybody. Bye-bye.
hear from you soon.